These are the times now, people, okay? These are the times we will all remember.
All these are the times presently individuals oak. These are the times we will all recall. Were you there? What did you do on the grounds that you're recounting the genuine story? Where does it pass on them to go? Definitely yet. Here's the fact, it's I don't get into that game. I'm simply carrying on with my life, man. It's not, it's something that I assume a sense of ownership. With what you need to know, don't get out whatever others. This is a discussion that I'm having with you right currently, Oak. So I'm letting you know right currently, okay. Set your habits back in. I keep things pretty quiet. I keep things the same old thing a typical day. And this opened the entryway for me to research each part of film creation. Throughout the long term, Tom Cruise has been a strict devotee of Scientology, lauding the religion. And in any event, attributing his prosperity in life to them. I've been a Scientologist for north of 30 years. And Amit said that thing, as you probably are aware without it, I wouldn't be where I'm, so it's a delightful religion anyway. It is being claimed that while Tom Cruise is one of the voices and faces of the religion, he no longer needs to connect himself with a congregation, yet is still there since they would rather not let him go in hypotheses that Tom Cruise is compelled to stay in Scientology. The actual congregation is reputed to take insider facts from its devotees and use them as weapons against them. It appears they have data on Tom Cruise that they are utilizing as guarantee to extort him into remaining, and this prompts Tom Cruise, and he much discussed evaluating yet. While some are guaranteeing that Tom needs to leave the foundation, an ex-Scientologist has guaranteed that with all the power offered to him by the congregation, he has no real excuse to individuals say Tom doesn't leave since they have data on him or John. That is not the explanation. How much power they get from this congregation doesn't resemble anything in Hollywood. So for what reason does Tom Cruise evidently need to leave Scientology? And for what reason is the congregation coercing him to remain? We should get into it. For some time, currently reports have been twirling around Tom Cruise's conceivable takeoff from Scientology, with reports recommending he stopped visits to the UK base camp in East Grinstead, igniting hypothesis that he could have stopped the religion cruise. Hasn't been spotted at the Scientology Central Command for around 3 years as his shooting responsibilities for Mission Unthinkable Dead Retribution section. One have kept him basically situated in the UK, found in local people like Birmingham and the Cotswolds for a really long time. Tom has been showering commendations on the congregation, encouraging others to join, and he even turned into a top firearm for themselves. And as a Me-Star VIP, his association with the congregation put them more on the map. I've been Scientologist for more than 30 years. And Amit of that thing, as you most likely are aware without it, I wouldn't be where I'm So it's a wonderful religion, Scientology, conceptualized by American writer L. Ron Hubb, has developed into a worldwide church with a remarkable arrangement of convictions and practices. Key to the congregation of Scientology's principle is the thought that an individual is a profound unfading, being named a thetan, briefly dwelling in an actual body theory around Tom's true capacity, removing from Scientology, started in 2021 following quite a while of his being an unmistakable figure for the religion. The new disclosure of his non-appearance from one of their eminent UK bases for the beyond 3 years has escalated conversations in regards to his binds with the congregation. Yet has Tom Cruise truly left the congregation as a perceived minister for the congregation? Tom Cruise is one of the most conspicuous individuals close by superstars, for example, John Travolta, Nancy Cartwright, and Elizabeth Greenery. There have been claims that Tom's enduring help for the congregation has procured him nearly godlike veneration from individuals, and some even case that he cherishes the congregation and its advantages. A lot to leave. The person even lobbied for Scientology to earn strict respect in Europe, Pondering his strict alliance, Tom recently shared bits of knowledge into his viewpoint, saying in the event that you're a Scientologist, you see life things how they are in the entirety of its magnificence and its perplexity. And the more you know as a Scientologist, the more you become overpowered by it. While Tom appears to adore the religion, there is likewise the way that he has lost the vast majority of his family because of the religion. And this may be one reason why he evidently needs to leave purportedly. It will be unimaginable for him to cut attaches with Scientology, since the congregation has reviews from him that uncover his haziest, most profound privileged insights because of the way that Tom Cruise is exceptionally valued by Scientology Association head David Movage, supposedly needed to guarantee he had Tom's reviews, and that Tom was likewise mated with a faithful supporter to make preparations for the entertainer's float away from the gathering subsequently, as per Morin or his sources. In what Katie didn't know, Cruise, without his insight or assent, was subtly recorded through secret cameras, masked in a light, and a household item during his evaluating meetings, which are similar to recorded admissions. Those tapes, as well as composed reports of what happened during the meetings, were then by conveyed to Miss Cavage at his Gold Base camp in Hempt. And as per a few of Orr's sources, Miss Cavage made the items in travels and other high-profile VIPs reviews public, while in group environments he wanted to dish about VIPs. Says Tom Devo, Miss Enclosure's previous close guide, who proceeded to run Scientology's enormous activity in Clearwater, Florida, where Scientologists from everywhere the world go to review, as per DeVol Miscav. Frequently joined by spouse, Shelley would whip out a jug of Malin Scotch at 2 to 3 a.m. in the official's parlor playback gammon, and read the crew reports with a running editorial. He's presumably got a ton of humiliating material, Devat says, adding that Miss C's remarks were as a rule about Cruz's sexual coexistence. He would feign exacerbation and egregious could you at any point accept it. Meanwhile, Miss Cavage professed to be Cruz's dearest companion. There have been tales throughout the long term that the congregation was coercing Tom, utilizing his reviews that show he is gay. Yet more hypotheses have asserted that Miss Cavage meddled with his different partners about Tom, asserting the entertainer was feeble and had no karma with ladies. Tom was gay. The stuff that got blabbered about were generally about Tom's barrenness and furthermore his level. And the reality, he has no karma with ladies. We don't have any idea why Miss Cavage used to blather about Tom significantly. Throughout the long term, Tom has come to the guide of the congregation at pivotal times. And that is apparently another explanation the congregation would rather not let him go in 1986, when entertainer Mamie Rogers started dating Cruise and first acquainted him with Scientology. The association was at a basic point its pioneer and wellspring of all its composed sacred texts. Sci-fi writer L. Ron Hubbard had kicked the bucket on January 24th that year for a gathering so centered around one figure. The demise of that individual can be an outrageous test. Would Scientology endure it? Purportedly muddling things was that the individual endeavoring to drive to the side others and remove the rules of Scientology was a 25-year-old who was known exclusively to a little minority of the development. David Movage had joined the association as a kid and had rapidly turned into a number one of Hubbard. Yet for a really long time he had amassed power in the rarefied upper minorities, hidden away of by far most of Scientologists. So when Miss Cavage ventured forward at the Hollywood Palladium to declare Center's demise to the assembled horde of Scientologists, on January 27, 1986, a large number of individuals who were in the crowd that evening had never at any point known about him. Missa was all the while uniting control of Scientology. Soon thereafter, when Mamie Rogers started bringing Tom Cruise around to a North Hollywood Scientology satellite office, Cruise was at that point a famous actor with films like Dangerous Business and the appropriate moves added to his repertoire, and the first Top Gun had hit performance centers. That late spring back in 1955, Hubbard had declared Project BIP, knowing that drawing in big names could assist the association with appearing to be more standard. There had been a few triumphs for Project BIP. From that point forward, with John Travolta and C. Parched Backstreet being among the most notable brought into the congregation. Yet Mimi Rogers outperformed everybody by acquiring a star of Croz's height, wedding him on Dianetics Day, 1987, and right when Scientology was in peril, following the passing of Hubbard, in the wake of joining the congregation cruise. Headed out to Missouri to assist Scientology with holding a great opening for another base camp for one of its various front gatherings, Applied Scholastics, which attempts to get Elrenhord's materials into state-funded schools. He kept on developing into the job of profoundly apparent Scientology diplomat, and in September 2004, he showed up at the stupendous opening of another Scientology ideal organization in Madrid, Spain cruise, was welcome to help Miss Cabbage open the New Madrid building, and he even gave a short discourse in applause Spanish. It was additionally at this occasion that Cruz purportedly told Miss Cabbage that he was experiencing some difficulty finding a suit capable new sweetheart supposedly miss.